Welcome to Twonk Entertainment's Let's Play of Tales of Xillia. My name is Dan. I'm one of your hosts this evening. Also joined by
Lord Strell
and Tempest.
So, what have we been doing this round, guys?
Well, I kind of had to tune out for a bit because I just got an amazing job offer, and I am super excited now because my week is now complete. I was
Nice.
yeah, I just went into
you.
Thank you, dude. Yeah, I just went into for an interview today, and I was like, yeah, going in, gotta rock this interview, and pretty much, like, within the day they called me back. They were like, congratulations, you killed the interview. Here's a job offer. And I'm like, yes.
Awesome.
See, it's kind of interesting when it comes to jobs to me. It's getting the interview that's the difficult part, not the interview itself.
I am happy to, let's just say I'm happy for you. Now let's move on.
Let's
into the game.
back to Tales of Xillia.
Back to the game. Yes.
What did I miss with you crazy cats, aside from Dan probably beating up more poor miscellaneous creatures who just, like, minding their own business, and he's just walking up to them saying, I'm gonna kill you for experience, and like, huh, what? Oh, God!
Well, what you missed, we actually just we were on our way to Niakara, and that would be Mila's hometown where she was born and raised. So hopefully we'll find out some of her backstory. But we're actually not in Niakara right now. We're in a side town going on our way to Niakara.
Do you live here, ma'am? I would hope so. I'm the mayor.
Hello, I am an old woman.
Is this the right road
Have
to
you
Niakara?
seen my contacts?
Niakara.
My name is Deckard
that's a name
Cain.
I haven't
I have
heard
survived
in
3 of
ages.
Diablo's insurrection, bitches.
It's
Respect
what
that,
people
sons
call
of
the long
bitches.
forgotten village. I don't even know if it still exists.
My name is
I heard
Deckard Cain.
tales
Have
of
you
the
seen
villages
me and
that
my
you built.
heraldric
People
cubes?
claimed it lies beyond the Kishara.
Oh,
It's been permanently ingrained in both of your brains now. I don't want your viewers out there.
It won't be an easy
Anyway.
Anyway, back to the topic of JRPGs, now that we have sidetracked on action-adventure games in the form of Blizzard Entertainment.
You're welcome to use it if you
Which
like.
they've not really done an action adventure since the Lost Vikings. I mean, come on now.
Yes, which was really good. And I don't know that that's action-adventure so much as puzzle platformer. I mean, you had to use them individually to overcome various obstacles. Not sure it was very much of an action game.
So here's where she answers the question whether she takes how she takes human form.
For a spirit to take physical form,
Let's see.
it needs a catalyst of a corresponding element. As an example, the fire spirit of Freak can take form as a blazing inferno.
And as Maxwell, you can be any element, right?
The human body
You have to
contains
forgive my
all
silence.
three
I'm actually
elements,
reading this.
so
It's
the
actually quite
perfect
interesting.
catalyst for me to take a physical form.
What would happen if you lost your catalyst?
I would gather elements to make a new one.
I'm not quite sure they're using the word catalyst properly.
Grow up? You mean
Grammar
you start
Nazi.
as a baby?
It's time consuming, but if you want to use a human form as a catalyst, you have to wait for the body to develop.
So even the Lord of Spirits isn't omnipotent.
Not in this human realm, anyway.
Let's just be grateful she didn't go with the male model, eh?
It wouldn't bother me.
Wow.
Oh.
Not at this front,
That's not what I meant.
That's wow. Just
Okay, we now officially know this is not a Nintendo game, because that would have been censored to all hell.
yes, it would have.
Yes, it would have, exactly. And that, that's just explaining the expansion slots for the item shops and whatnot. Have I gone over that yet? Did I go over that in the last episode?
I don't
You
know,
did.
go over it again.
Might as well.
I could. Well, in this particular game, the item shops work a little bit differently. You don't actually grab, or items don't magically appear. New items don't magically appear as you progress through the game. What actually happens is you have to gain reputation with each item shop, and that's kind of what you're looking at. It's called the expansion or expand system. And so you give them ingredients or money to expand their shop, and you gain reputation with them. And as your reputation grows, new, greater, bigger, better items become available to you as the player because you become a preferred customer. Let's put it like that.
Oh, I like you. Here, check out what I've got under the table.
What are you selling?
Yeah.
I'll buy that at a special price.
And as you can see off to the right, each time you visit a shop, there's a different kind of bonus. So this kind of item, I think those are monster parts.
Skull, chicken.
Has
pie, beetle, leaf.
Has a 2x bonus, so you get 2 times the amount of XP for giving them those types of item. And what General 2K is saying in chat is correct. You probably want to wait. He's saying that it goes all the way up to at least 3x experience bonuses, and it's usually smarter to wait till you get to those experience bonuses because you get more bang for your buck, basically.
Yeah, it's really hard to kind of balance a system like this because, I mean, they were trying to make it a bit more dynamic and more of a kind of like an accomplishment, etc., to really get players to like play the game a lot more than they were. I mean, Tales of Xillia was already kind of a game that you needed to grind up your levels a bit to begin with, as most JRPGs are. They're kind of oriented and geared to. They're not very linear in the sense that you can just pretty much, clear the area, go beat the boss, and then move on to the next. No, JRPGs have the bad habit of pulling what I like to call the temple in FF7. For anyone who doesn't remember the temple in FF7, there's this one god-awful boss in there that basically was this giant wall, and if you weren't leveled up high enough, it was literally going to run you over, and you weren't going to get past it. So, yeah, they have a pretty big habit of just having areas that you need to grind gratuitous amounts of XP. I suppose this is a limiting factor because at the same time you can't just, skip to the next area, grab the best gear, then go grind up on the mobs and beat the crap out of them because you have boosted stats.
Right.
This is actually forcing you to kind of have to grind up on mobs to get better gear before moving on.
So to take a pause from the conversation, we can go back to that in a second. But this is actually an important mechanic or item. Basically, these are treasure chests that appear in the world, but they're special treasure chests, and you gain items that can change your appearance or give you rarer items as you find them. They're called arcs, and it's another form of item hunt for you to go after.
Oh
just
God,
one more thing for you to spend time on, which is nice.
Completionism? No.
Yes, completionism.
Oh God, I gotta collect them all!
That's pretty much what it is, and I tend to be a completionist when it comes to these kind of games.
Speaking of the grindy nature of JRPGs, not all of them are so bad. I didn't have that particular problem with Final Fantasy VII. I felt that game flowed fairly well. I didn't have to do a lot of grinding in that. But the most notorious one for me was the original Final Fantasy. It was not, we're talking about game design in its infancy. You got so far in the game, and every time you got to a new town, you had to stop for a while.
Right.
You had to. You couldn't handle what was coming your way unless you bought the new equipment, and you didn't get enough gold, items, etc. in the previous area to acquire these things. And the Silver Sword was the worst of them, because it was 4,000 gold, and you had just spent 550 gold on an axe in the previous town. And you get over here and you've got so little money. The spells are all, I think, 1,200 or 1,400. And there's this silver sword, and you do not want to go in the marsh cave without that silver sword. And you've got to spend probably 45 minutes killing giants to get that damn sword.
I'm gonna have to honestly ask what your party setup was for that FF1 run, because for me it was always easy. Because I always like to do the red mage boost your entire party for the win type of run. Just basically kill off the warrior, the ninja, and the I ran with the black mage, and pretty much just lull through the entire game as you boost them to absurd levels, because that game, the faster you got them to the advanced classes, the better off that you were overall in the game.
Oh, of course. The Red Mage solo game is fairly good, but the playing through as the game was intended with 4 characters, I, generally speaking, liked to have a fighter, a Red Mage, a Black Mage, and a White Mage. I played with a very magic-heavy party, which was grindy in itself, just trying to buy all the damn spells.
Yeah.
But as a result, that party was very secure. You had backup white magic, you had backup physical damage, you had significant AoE, because in that game you had to deal with spell charges. So, like, you had to go in and kill the vampire, right? And then underneath the vampire was a plate that you went through to go kill,
you're no different than infants.
what was it? Was that the Earth Fiend under the vampire? I think it was, yeah.
Pretty sure.
So it was like 2 dungeons, but you had to go through the first one to get into the second one. By the time you got to the Earth Fiend, you were so out of spell charges. So I liked having that extra red mage around to AoE down the mobs, so I didn't take so many hits getting to the boss.
See, I love... Sorry,
so while you guys were discussing which party setup is better in an old Final Fantasy game, we actually missed an important plot point or explanation in the game. So Mila went ahead and explained what a Spyrix is, and she likened it. She didn't really tell us exactly what it was, other than it's a dangerous piece of technology that humans should not have, that she needs to take away from humanity. And she then her view of humanity is that she views humanity as infants, and she gave the example of she asked the question, would you let an infant handle a knife? And obviously we wouldn't. So she views humanity as the infants in this particular situation. This is a technology, a Spyrix is a technology we should not have at all.
Which is a very interesting plot point that I'd have to mention. I mean, I do always like it when humanity is kind of like, have this overwatching, omnipotent being kind of looking out for them, not do something stupid, because humans are notorious for doing that.
Yes,
they are. True, but we like to play with fire, and we burn ourselves way more than we should.
We do.
And it's kind of interesting, because it's like in games like Tales of Xillia, where there is that omnipotent being that views humans as kind of like that cradle civilization. They're still growing and prospering. It brings me to like one of my favorite series, Mass Effect, and just showing exactly what could happen if we're not given a piece of technology we shouldn't have yet.
Right. And this, not to divulge from the current conversation, but this particular skit's pretty funny.
Oh boy,
I bet if
here
I
we go.
yelled really loud, it would echo back. So why not try it? You gotta do things like that while you're still young. When you get to be my age, it can get a little embarrassing.
Yeah, alright, why not? Echo!
Echo, 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 echo.
Alvin!
Alvin,
Alvin. And what you're doing now isn't embarrassing?
a little, a little, a little, a little.
God, that's like reminds me of like Jim Carrey's The Grinch Stole Christmas. I'm an idiot. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. You're an idiot.
And honestly, I think we talked about this last episode or the episode before last streaming session, that the humor in this particular game, or in Tales games in general, is
The soldiers beat us
very
here.
refreshing.
Yes, it's refreshing.
Great.
It's really nice because, especially with such a very serious storyline, like I've noticed in a lot of the Tales stories, the story is actually can be pretty grim.
Yes.
In a lot of regards, like it is. I mean, if it wasn't for the humor to offset it, like Tales of Xillia, you know, despite the fact that it's usually painted with very hello Gothalita girl with creepy doll thing, and I'm like, what?
Quietly, girl.
How to get past those soldiers.
So I guess this is the token lolly character of this Tales game.
Apparently, all
Yeah.
it takes to shut Lord Strell up is a
Hello.
I am no. I'm just like, oh god, there it is, creepy doll. Oh god, it's gonna come. It's flying across the screen. It's gonna kill us all.
Child, you
And
know
there's her
you're
big
never to leave
oaf
the
of a
shed.
father. Well, I don't know if he's an oaf, but he's a big guy.
Curse you! How dare you come here?
Is it biting their heads or is it bouncing on their heads? I can't see. And there she goes running away.
So what were we talking about? I'm lost.
Smash it with a hammer.
Square.
I think the humor, but
Oh
it's
yes.
You all must be outsiders.
I was going to mention that sometimes you get burnt out on a story, irregardless of whether or not it's
I have
grim.
no idea what just happened, but I ain't complaining.
Humor keeps you
Things just got
engaged.
easier for
yes.
Every half hour, every hour, it makes it entertaining, not just drama all the time. If you had a game that dragged on for 40 hours of drama, even if it was the Epic of Beowulf, you're gonna get burnt out and not want to sit there. The comedy keeps you engaged.
Well, I mean, in the mortal words of Shakespeare, it's like, you know, what was it? He had a very specific quote that it's like people, something along the lines of, people have to deal with depressing things every day. While it's good to reference them and mock them, it's better to add humor to bring a brighter light to them, so people can at least smile despite how grim things may actually be.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Nothing important up here. I thought there might be a piece of fruit that I could use later on in the game or something, but nothing quite. And we jump all the way down.
Whoa, I
Do
felt
it.
totally weightless.
Splat.
I kind of want to do that again.
That was the softest landing ever.
Hey,
What?
Shit.
All damage? What? What?
What?
cure out of
Yeah.
these.
Well, I mean, it's an RPG game, so I wouldn't expect fall damage, but you never know.
She's
Yeah.
also a god, so. But I
doesn't
mean,
mean-
it just didn't look like.
Look,
that's the first time where I was disappointed in the game's animation. She
You know-
didn't look like she landed. She looked like she was standing there in the air, and then she was standing on the ground.
Yeah. But-
Yeah.
I mean, at the same time, you can't really hold it too much, especially when it's the type of game where everyone kind of superfusion haws into one body, and then they magically pop out everywhere whenever there's a party scene coming up. I mean, that's just how the JRPG kind of rolls. There's just that one person representing the entire party.
Right, but still,
You know that
that's
girl we saw
that's
in
not
the
an
mill?
excuse
The one
for
with the weird doll
lacking a landing
What about
animation.
You didn't
I
think
guess
that
it's
was
something
odd?
that's not done
You
often
can't
enough
waste
in the
your energy
game.
on other
As you
people's
saw when the
business.
camera panned
All part
as
of
she was
grown-up,
falling,
kid.
it
She was controlling
hid her
the doll,
legs
and
as
shady
much as
people were
possible.
chasing her.
Because you
Yeah.
could see she didn't really
There are
land.
plenty of that
She didn't
going
bend her
around.
knees. She didn't
Just
tuck
look
and
at
roll.
ourselves.
She was just
We have enough
would
on our own plate.
on
drop
the ground.
You really want
agree with you
more
that it was
regularities
probably
in life?
one of those animations they didn't feel that it was necessary
Not
enough
that
to
it's
go out of the
necessarily
way
a
to
bad
make a
thing,
brand new
mind you.
animation for
No
it.
one's got a bigger
No, it is a
hole
game,
than we
and
are.
with games, at least for me, I tend to suspend my belief in the real world and the real world physics.
Well, let's slow her down just a little bit. She's a goddess. She could. It's plausible.
It is.
It's slow fall.
If we were going to get into physics and all that, I would already be nitpicking the hell out of the hair physics in this
Oh,
game.
yeah. It's a little
As-
plastic.
Yeah, I'm just like single motion bouncing hairdo that's like flailing everywhere, but has no realism to it whatsoever. That's why I go with Dan's theory of just throw the real world out the window because it's just not worth it.
No.
Well,
So this is experience.
like I said, it was just a thing. When I saw her land, I was like, "Oh, she didn't do anything." I was a little disappointed. We got a girl in the tiniest miniskirt, and they didn't do a tuck roll for an unnecessary panty.
That is why you wanted the animation.
Miniskirts.
You wanted to see her panties. That's exactly it.
No.
That day, all female officers sent people required to wear miniskirts.
Oh well, you know, I would follow the Flame Alchemist anywhere.
I'll follow you to the end of the earth, Roy was saying. Yeah. See, that was, it's like, speaking of Full Metal Alchemist, I was actually kind of disappointed they never revisited that junk in the Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood series.
It was a much more serious series.
Well, considering it was based off the manga, it wasn't actually just, like, hack-jobbed after Hughes died. Sorry, spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen the series yet, but it's been, like, what, 3 years now?
Yeah.
So, unbelievably, that has been our about 20 minutes. So we are going to take another hiatus and come back for what, episode 6. This is I think this is episode 5, isn't it?
Is it? I don't know. I kind of lost track. I think we did 1, 2. Yeah, this was episode 5 right here, and the next one's 6.
Yeah.
So we're back to the even numbers out from the odd numbers.
Yes, we are. So as you can see, we've been discussing and Tales of Xillia and JRPGs as a whole, and we've also been contemplating what Mia's underwear looks like, if that's... yeah, I think that's what we've been doing. But you can find all of us on Twonkhammer at twonkhammer.com. You can also find us at facebook.com/Twonkhammer, twitter.com/Twonkhammer, and youtube.com. Hopefully you're watching us on our YouTube channel, but yes, you can find us at youtube.com/TwonkhammerENT. The ENT is very important. You will not find us without that ENT. You can also all of our podcasts you can find on Stitcher, which is a great service. We are proudly on Stitcher, and everything we do is brought to you by Audible. Go sign up at twonkhammer.com/Audible and get your free audiobook. And you get to keep this audiobook regardless of which one you choose. It can be a 20-page audiobook. It can be a 1,000-page audiobook. You can keep it for eternity. It is yours, regardless if you sign up for their service or not. So, with that said, I am Dan.
I'm Lord Strell.
And I'm Tempest.
This has been a Let's Play of Tales of Xillia.
Goodbye.